Finally, it looks like Amazon MGM are going to announce the movie for Stargate. The movie we've been waiting for 3 years. But it does look like, from several other sources we get to speak to, that this year they are going to announce it, and it has gone into pre-development. Welcome to the Tachyon Pulse podcast, part of the Scitrek family.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
If you are watching this now, I'm going to drop this at 5 o'clock. In an hour, we will be on Scitrek talking about this live and getting your views and really answering any questions that you've got. But for now, what have I been told? What do we know? And what is rumour? Okay, so it actually came out earlier in the week that as Amazon MGM have announced that they will be doing 12 to 14 cinematic movies a year. Now, this is something they kind of announced about 2 years ago. They actually said they were going to invest $1 billion or £1 billion a year into cinematic movies. But then the strikes happened and Hollywood had a big contraction. This really is now Amazon MGM doubling down, though, on that previous investment. Why are they doing it now? It's like we've been telling you guys for a while. Amazon have been trying to get new studio space. A lot of that studio space started coming online in the summer. Apparently, a lot of it was quite delayed, but now their capacity is getting to a point where they can start actually planning ahead and start planning new MGM Amazon projects. Will Stargate be on that list? I asked the people we speak to. 2 or 3 came back to me immediately and confirmed that, look, it's not on the calendar yet, but Stargate is planned to be announced at some point this year. And it was also confirmed to me by 2 or 3 really good sources that do know what they're talking about, that this actually has gone into some level of pre-production. I reached out to a couple of people that I haven't spoken to in a little while because Stargate has been so quiet. And one person who actually works in sort of the legal side of things has also confirmed to me that Mark Fergus, somebody that we've spoken to several times before, who we hoped would be in charge of Stargate if it wasn't going to be Brad Wright, is actually currently contracted to produce some sort of script for Amazon MGM. Now, they have not been able to confirm exactly what that is because they don't see that sort of thing. They just sort of see the contracts and stuff. But what they have been able to confirm is that it does have a working sort of title of Osiris, which, let's be honest, is Stargate. And that project is something that Mark Fergus is actually revising. So it is not a new script. It's something he is working on developing. Now, that's important when we think about Stargate, in that we have been told and we believe that actually Mark Fergus had produced a script for a Stargate movie before. We actually think it was going into pre-production and even had some sort of like very early set stuff done in Eastern Europe and Poland, we were told, just before the strikes. So that would be 2023. That was sort of gearing up to be done, but then the strikes happened. It dragged on for a lot longer than we thought, and then there was obviously an economic impact as well. The cost of living crisis, I think, has had a big impact on this as well. A lot of studios have gone, oh, we need to save money. This is why Amazon MGM are working towards getting their own studio space. That is a cost-saving thing, basically, because they were renting space out previously. To be fair, they rent space out now, but they rent space out through a company called the Hackman Group, which they actually part own. They're one of the major investors for, but they've got long-term agreements with these. Amazon don't even own the studio space that they've got at Culver City. They don't even own the building that is their headquarters. It's owned by the Hackman Group, and they've got a long-term lease. So it does look like it could possibly be Mark Fergus, but we can't confirm that at the moment. But 2 and 2 equal 4? We'll have to see. There'll probably be some completely other project he's doing, but so that is what we know, is that the plan is for something to be put in the calendar and it will be announced at some point this year for a Stargate show. A rumour it's possibly Mark Fergus. We know he's doing something. We don't know it's definitely Stargate. And then we're going into the big questions. Will it be a continuation or will it be a hard reboot? Now, this is when we are going into rumour and opinion. The couple of people I've got to speak to, one is aware of the project. The other two work at Amazon MGM, and so they're giving me their opinion. But generally, the consensus seems to be that Amazon have always insisted, and this comes right from the top from Mike Hopkins apparently, that any new movie should be some sort of continuation. But obviously, we've heard several rumours over 3 years that Amazon would potentially soften into that position because they kept exploring different ways of doing a continuation of the show and even bringing back legacy characters like Sam, like, all of them really, Daniel and Teal'c. But they never quite got an idea or a project or scripts that worked, that they liked, that they thought would be successful. So it's always been in this treadmill, just sort of waiting. Now, I think part of that has been they've been waiting for their studio spaces to go online. So I think part of it from bosses are just going like, you go away, have a think, come back, tell us what you think, and then we'll have another think. While they're waiting for actually the practical steps of having a studio to actually do it in, and then they actually need to make a decision. But they have gone through that process several times that we're aware of, and never quite got to the point of actually having a TV show, for example, which is what they were looking at during the strikes. They were thinking about, like, do we want to do a cinematic movie? Maybe not. Cinema doesn't seem to be doing very well at the moment. Let's have a look at a TV show. How do we do that? But then again, they never quite got that far. And as I said to you guys a million times before, MGM Plus have been desperate for a TV show. The boss over there, whose name has just gone out of my head, I do know it, yeah, has been begging for this because he runs MGM Plus and he knows how popular that would be and how it would be a really good way of pushing his channel forwards. But Amazon have never given him permission, and now they aren't back in MGM Plus like they were a couple of years ago. So that's not going to happen. So it does look like they've gone back to Plan A. Now, this Plan A of a movie was something that was actually announced on Deadline 3 years ago. I think it was April 22. So nearly 3 years ago. So Deadline don't just get this stuff from anywhere. That is something Amazon have specifically told them that they were working on a movie. Several actors actually came out at the time and said, we're hearing whispers that Amazon are doing a movie. It looks like they've basically spent 2 years, due to the contraction of Hollywood and the strikes, etc., exploring other options, but now they've gone back to Plan A. They've always said continuation. I'm now hearing, and the opinion of the people that work over at MGM that I get to speak to is that will be, at best, a soft reboot. A sort of, the way it was described to me was it might be a soft continuation, in that it'll reference SG1, SGU, SGA, and there might even be the odd Easter egg, etc., but they're not going to put too many restrictions on the new creators. Now, that makes me feel that this is going to be a Star Trek Kurtzman situation, where we're going to get some sort of bastardized version of Stargate. But that's me jumping ahead. We don't know that for certain yet. And even if they do a continuation, there will be differences from what we know as Stargate, and we're just going to have to accept that. It's a different time. There's going to be different solutions to problems within the story, etc. So we'll just have to see what happens. So, this year, how much you want to bet San Diego Comic-Con? How much you want to bet we start hearing about San Diego Comic-Con in the next couple of months? We'll see. But it looks like something will be announced this year. It's already gone into a level of pre-production. Possibly Mark Fergus. Possibly some sort of soft continuation. What do you think? Get into the comments. And if you're watching this as it drops live, come and join us on Scitrek. It'll be about 6 o'clock UK time to discuss this. Sometimes we've been here before, so let's just see what happens. But get into the comments, tell me exactly what you think, and come and join us on the live. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.